Tippy time, my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. Glaives are a little bit hot at the moment. They saw a small melee bump last season, and this season we got access to the rake angle, our first glaive in that kinetic slot. But there is one glaive out there that we really do need to talk about. The Excalibur is possibly one of the most slept on weapons this season. This fires a spreaded attack opposed to a traditional projectile, and blocking damage with its shields will gradually grant us overshields to both us and nearby allies. At base, its hits do 20k, and whilst we have an overshield, we'll hit 20% harder for 24,000. Overshield's got chunky buffs, and they are now the strongest damage resist in game at 70% damage resist. Its DR works differently though, attaching to the shield rather than our guardians. Thankfully, our shield's health was buffed by 66%, going from 90 hit points to 150. So obviously we want to keep the shield up as much as possible, and the Excalibur is perhaps the best at cycling overshields, better than the Manticore, better than any armor or ability we've got, as when defeating targets with our melee final blows, whilst we have Highness of Overshield active, it will be refreshed. We just need to guard for a second to get like a nut hair of Overshield, we destroy and we get full Overshield. I'm going to be running this with the Karnsteins so we can get heals on our glaive kills too. These kills give us cure times 3 and restoration times 1 on every glaive melee kill. And this is even stronger on our finisher kills, giving us a restoration times 2. So we've got 3 toys keeping us alive, right? Why not a 4th? With Glacial Harvest, when we freeze a target, we create Stasis shards. The stronger the foe we freeze, the more shards we create. And these shards are going to give us frost armor. Now we've got many ways to freeze. I'll be using Whisper of Reversal. This gives our melees the ability to slow whenever we have frost armor. And by melees, I mean our glaives, turning it the Excalibur into some kind of like makeshift winter bite. Now the slow stacks aren't nearly as good as it. I wouldn't trust it for that initial freeze on say like an unstop, but it will help incapacitate those orange bars, and against those champs it will give you a solid second freeze so we can get shards off at the end once it falls to its demise. I love running their frostbolts with a glaive. We plant our rift, tap them with said glaive for that T1000 shatter. We use brain freeze to slow any targets in the perimeter of our freeze. This way Whisper of Fishes increased shatter damage will clean up the spears. I'm running Armor of Eramis in the artifact as in order to maximize our rift's effects. We want to be that girl in the red dress, so we're going to need to like slide in amongst all the chaos to do so. It can get a little bit hairy, armor's going to help. Using Whisper of Rhyme, this is going to allow us to get 8 stacks of that frost armor. And this has that improved lifespan going from 10 seconds to 13 seconds a stack. Using Whisper of Refraction, we get class ability energy when we kill a slowed or frozen combatant. Paired with Serve Cold in the artifact, giving us both melee and class ability energy off of those shard pickups, we can literally have a rift back in a second flat. Being that we're eating up all these stasis shards, num num num, we're going to have penumbrals available to us more often, and with Conductive Cosmic Crystal bulking them up, it's going to be a real good tank slapper against those unstops. Now feel free to use whatever grenade you want, it won't affect this kit at all. I just preferred the Cold Snap. Now I'm rocking Dynamo on my helmet. This is going to give us more super energy whilst blinding down our rift, and we got rifts aplenty. No lie though, I was kind of hoping for some new Stasis supers this year, as I'm still not the biggest fan of that Shapebinder super. I kind of feel like it could be good if it had like 40% more uptime, but like 6 attacks really ain't all that much. Builds that shatter aren't really the best at making orbs. Thankfully we've got shards aplenty. Elemental charge mod on our kicks will give us armor charges. I use this to fuel our special ammo finisher to keep our glaive topped up. Now remember, we want a finisher whenever possible, as this is going to make us more powerful restorations, and we're going to be rocking the boosted destabilizing mod in the artifact. This is going to emit that shockwave that will slow targets. Now feel free to pause here for all my mods, artifact and fragment, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. Our overshields had to be the weakest in the DR train for the longest time, but they're finally pulling the pack and are actually really potent now. So make sure you dig out the Excalibur. Even if you're not a glaive guy, it's kind of hard to pass up how good this puppy is. Paired with those Karnsteins giving us restoration and cure, slap on some frost and you'll fear nothing. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you could make any new Shadebinder Super, how would it work? Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.